Picture this. You finally hit that magical $1 million mark in your retirement savings. You are probably thinking it's time to shop for a yacht and fly first class for the rest of your life. But hold on to your wallet, because what I am about to tell you might just burst that bubble. $1 million portfolio today is not going to fund the lavish lifestyle you see in glossy magazine ads. In fact, it will barely cover what most of us consider a comfortable middle-class retirement. People usually assume they can just leave the $1 million in the bank and live off whatever their investments earn each year. The logic makes sense on paper. If your portfolio grows by 12%, that is $120,000 to spend without ever touching your principal. Here's where that fantasy crashes into reality. The stock market doesn't hand out steady paychecks. One year you might watch your investments soar by 25%, but the next year they could easily drop by 10%. When those massive gains roll in, you might feel like Warren Buffett's smarter cousin. But relying on that volatility to pay your monthly bills guarantees an unpredictable, stressful lifestyle when the market inevitably takes a dive. This unpredictability becomes a massive problem when you look at the timeline. If you plan to leave the workforce in your 50s or 60s, your money has to last for 30 to 40 years without running dry. A hidden mathematical trap can slash your expected income to a fraction of your goal, often before the first luxury purchase is ever made. To figure out how much you can actually spend safely, experts in financial planning circles rely on a heavily researched historical standard known as the 4% withdrawal rule. Based on decades of stock and bond market data, this rule dictates that you can safely take out just 4% of your total portfolio during your first year of retirement. With $1 million nest egg, that gives you exactly $40,000 to live on. Looking at this diagram, we start with a massive block representing the full $1 million. But when we apply the rule, we extract this tiny sliver, your $40,000 annual income. It is a stark contrast between what you saved and what you can actually use. And that $40,000 has a silent enemy working against it: inflation. Like a pickpocket at a crowded festival, inflation quietly erodes your purchasing power every single year. As we trace that same $40,000 sliver over a 30-year timeline, its actual buying power hollows out. Your money today will buy significantly less stuff 2 or 3 decades from now, even if the number in your account stays exactly the same. Then you have to factor in how long you will actually need that money. While the average 65-year-old lives another 18 to 20 years, half of those people will live much longer, requiring decades of continued, careful withdrawals. A static plan simply fails in the real world. By the time you reach your 80s or 90s, that original $40,000 withdrawal buys significantly less, exactly when you need it to stretch the farthest. Beyond the neat math of withdrawal rates, your retirement account is completely exposed to the chaotic reality of the open market. This chart shows what happens if a market crash hits right as you retire. As the portfolio value drops sharply, you still have to make withdrawals to live. You can see this red bar pulling money out at the absolute bottom, forcing the overall balance into an accelerated, irreversible downward curve. Financial advisors call this sequence of returns risk. When you get unlucky with market timing early in retirement and sell your assets while they are down, you permanently handicap your portfolio's ability to bounce back when the market eventually recovers. It is like being forced to sell your house during a hurricane while the roof is leaking and the basement is flooded. You are in the worst possible position to negotiate a good price, and the losses compound instantly. Even if you avoid a market crash, the government still wants its cut. If your $1 million is sitting in a traditional 401k or IRA, the IRS taxes every dollar you withdraw as ordinary income, exactly like the paycheck you used to get from your employer. Then comes the expense that consistently outpaces standard inflation: healthcare. While Medicare covers many medical expenses, it has massive gaps. Long-term care and nursing facilities can easily cost over $100,000 a year out of pocket. When you combine unlucky market timing, routine tax obligations, and unexpected medical bills, a $1 million account can drain down to zero long before you reach your actual life expectancy. But this is not a lost cause. Smart retirees use a few specific strategies to navigate these threats and build a plan that actually survives. $40,000 serves as the baseline for this strategy. For most people, Social Security acts as a massive foundational layer designed to stack right underneath your private savings. The average retiree receives a monthly benefit of about $1,765. Multiplied by 12 and doubled for a married couple, that adds over $41,000. Stacked onto your original $40,000, your household income jumps over $83,000. To protect that income from market crashes, retirees build a cash buffer. By keeping several years' worth of living expenses in boring, stable savings accounts, you can live off cash during a downturn instead of selling your stocks at a loss. The secret is to stop obsessing over the $1 million milestone. Financial experts suggest aiming for a replacement ratio instead, meaning you calculate what it takes to hit roughly 70 to 80% of your pre-retirement income to maintain your current standard of living. A $1 million portfolio provides the raw material for a functional retirement strategy. Actively managing withdrawal rates, tax exposure, and cash reserves creates a system capable of weathering the market's unpredictability over the long term.